What's up guys, we are here in Puerto Rico at the beach, and today I'm going to talk you through my process of creating Instagram Reels for clients like this.
Welcome to Untitled Beach House.
The first step is to figure out what the client's needs are. In this case, they didn't have a whole bunch of time, but they wanted to highlight the process of a client checking in. They only wanted a 15-second reel, something quick and simple that would put across the point of what it would be like to check in and stay at this resort. So given the time constraint and resources we had available to us, I figured just a quick steady cam shot of walking through the whole process would be the best way to show a point of view of the customer experiencing that. So to kind of document this whole process, I just kind of slapped on a 360 cam. The angles are a little bit weird, but I think it will give you a good idea of a behind the scenes of a little shoot like this. This wasn't going to be a one-shotter, so we decided to break it down into parts as the customer would experience it. So we managed to get a couple of employees, one to act as the customer and one to act as the hostess, who is actually the hostess. And we literally just went step by step as a client would check in. Generally, I want to give myself options in post, so we'll do it 2 or 3 times just to make sure I've got different variants of the same shot. I actually only ended up using them walking past the camera in the end result. Now, the next step was checking in. This can be quite a boring process with paperwork and all that stuff, so we completely cut that out and just had the hostess hand the guests some towels and a couple of room cards. From here, the check-in to the room is kind of largely just walking back past some of the stuff that they had already walked past to get to the reception. So we cut out all of that and started from the floor that the room was on. Now here's where the final product differed from what I had initially thought. In my mind, the hostess would take the guest's suitcase and lead the guest to their room and show them the room, which is actually how it happens in real life. But after going through the motions of shooting that and having the guest follow her carrying her suitcase, it kind of looked a little bit weird. It looked like the hostess was now checking into the room herself. We actually decided to reshoot the whole thing with just the guest finding their way to the room, which actually ended up being a really good idea because that's the shot we ended up using. Now, the biggest reason people come and stay here is because it's oceanfront, and in front of this resort, they have bean bags out and they have amazing cocktails that they give to their guests. So the next shot was just a follow shot of the guest going and sitting down at one of these lovely bean bags and getting handed a drink. So that was it. That was the shoot done. The next step was to go into the edit and make the video in the edit. So I'm here in the edit in Final Cut Pro, and it ended up being about 17 seconds long in the end, which is around the range that I wanted it to be. After importing all the footage, the first step was for me just to go through each of these takes and choose which one I liked, because I did a few. Fortunately, because we filmed everything in sequence, I was just able to lay everything take after take. And once I had gone through all the footage and chose all the bits that I wanted to use, I then went through and found my music track. They wanted something mellow and relaxing for this because it's a kind of a retreat. So I chose this track off of Epidemic Sound. Kind of has a nice dreamy, chill feel. And once I had that, I had the beats to work off of. So I used a lot of speed ramping in this edit to kind of cut some of the slower bits around whilst maintaining some flow through the edit. It can be a bit cheesy if it's overdone. The reason some of these shots are kind of off angle is because I was using the DJI FPV setting on the Ronin RS2. I kind of like it because it feels like you're kind of floating through. So I ended up just trimming down all of the unnecessary things, speeding up the slow parts, and making everything fit to the beat. I added a bit of an adjustment layer for some color, and the idea of this whole edit was to tie it in together like a loop. So I made sure that the beat at the start and the beat at the end would loop endlessly. So I could take this track, duplicate it, put it to the end of the timeline, and it would run without anybody noticing. So it's not perfect, but it's good enough for Instagram Reels. So that is how I make simple Instagram Reels with the Canon R5 and the DJI RS2 Pro. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. That will really help. And subscribe if you feel so inclined. And I'll see you on the next one.